Hi, I'm Jo Bingham and welcome to my channel. So this painting was done over quite a long time period as I waited for the layers to dry. And it's quite unusual for me because I normally do quite detailed work, and this isn't particularly detailed, and for me it's quite loose. But I did enjoy doing it, so I hope that you enjoy watching it. Thank you, bye. So this rose is from a photograph by Sherry Kenner. It's a yellow rose and the sun is shining on it, so it's sort of shining through the leaves. So in order to get that translucent effect and to make it really stand out, I need to put a dark background in. So hence why I'm wetting all the background. I'm using a round brush with a lovely point to make sure that I'm getting all my edges clean. And now I'm dropping in Imperial Purple, which is going to really make that rose stand out. So even though I'm doing it quite loose, you'll see that I'm quite careful going around my drawn lines. I really want to make that stand out. So if you're painting something pale, you do have to increase the contrast by, putting something quite dark next to it to make it stand out. Otherwise, it's just going to get lost. So you'll see that dark top in a minute, and I'm just splattering some paint just to give it a little bit more interest. And then I'm just going to increase some colouring down the bottom. And then dribble it off the bottom, and there you go. There's the background. Okay, now it's dry, and can you see how beautiful that is? The colours have separated out. That is only one colour, but the colours within the colour has separated out to this beautiful sort of pinky purple. So I've chosen about 5 colours to use in this rose. So we've gone with titanium grey, a rose, lemon yellow, Hansa yellow, and imperial purple. And mixes of those 5 colours will be enough to paint this rose. So the trick is, when you're painting something really delicate, you've really got to sort of make sure that your balance of pigment versus water is correct, and that you haven't put too much pigment in, because it's so delicate. You want to see more of the paper. You want to see the paper through the paint. And you want to keep that lightness. So often on these petals you'll see reflected colour, so you might see me dropping in a yellow or a rose colour as part of the shadows, because it's reflected colour. So I'm slowly working around the rose, and there are occasions when I'll be doing 2 petals together. But mostly I want to do the petals separately. So I'm working around the rose rather than sort of petal next to petal next to petal. I think I might just be dropping in a little bit of blue there that I had on the palette, but that's quite nice. The titanium grey is a great colour. It's a Daniel Smith colour, and it's a really warm, gentle grey. You don't use it very often, but when you do, it's a spot-on colour. And when you're looking at shadows for yellow things, because it's quite a hard colour to get the shadows, so you can either add purples in, which will give you a great neutral colour, which is also awesome, or you can use something like the titanium grey and mix it with the yellow, which will give you a really gentle shadow colour. So I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who's liked and subscribed to my video channel. It's really appreciated. So if you could just like this video, if you like it, then that would be fantastic. Thank you very much. So we're just continuing to work around dropping those colours in. Same colour palette. And you're starting to see the effect of the yellow and the purple, the yellow against the purple now. So I love this section. This is, as we're progressing with our painting, we're starting to put shadows in, we're starting to drop colours in. And the more you do this, the more that you learn how colour works and how paint works. you know, by wetting the surface and just dropping colour in at one side or along one, you know, one angle, one corner, and just watching to see what happens. What does it do? How far does it run? And that will depend on the paper, the amount of paint that you put on, many variables. But the only way to find out is to practice and do it yourself. So at some point, it's quite a good idea to sort of stand back from your painting and just assess those tones and make sure that you have them correct. Or not near as. It's really hard to get things correct. So this was the trickiest bit of the flower, was doing all of these petals down on the right hand side. Roses are quite complicated to paint, but they're a joy. They're so beautiful. So just working on the top of that front petal where it's bent over. Just to try and make sure that you don't colour it all in. You have to keep some light areas. To get that contrast, you need to have some darker underneath, some darker colours and lighter colours on the top. Okay, so we're into the last stretch. We're just putting some darks in, using the same mixes, dropping some Imperial Purple in there and Titanium Grey. So putting these darker tones in, just make sure that the picture is tonally balanced and that it looks real. Just putting the stalk in there, and I think that's about it. Okay, I think I want to leave it there because I don't want to overdo it. I want to keep it nice and fresh and light. So I'm just going to take my eraser and just get rid of all the pencil lines. So I've deliberately kept my paint very thin because I do have a tendency to overwork things. When I do my animal portraits, they're very fine and they have lots of detail. So I've wanted to try and keep the essence of the rose. So I think that's it. Let's just put that in there. Okay, so that's it. I hope that you can appreciate that I have tried to keep the white bits white, so to lift it from the purple background and to give it a freshness, and it's almost like moving, almost like a movement feel. So again, as usual, I hope that you've enjoyed this this little demonstration, and I hope that you have a go yourself, and I will see you next time. Okay, so I just tweaked this to finish it off. So I rubbed out all my lines. I just sharpened up this line here because I felt it needed it, and I darkened in there, and I just sort of made sure that these were dark enough. I want that progression, so that you go from dark, you know, dark, mid-tone, and then the light, obviously where the sun's hitting it. So I think I'm happy with it now. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this this little video, and see you next time.